Welcome to the Administrative Practices Committee meeting at 9 a.m. on November 3rd, auspicious November 3rd, 2020. Hope everybody has a safe day today. I'll open it up for public comment on items that are not on the agenda. Star 9 if you're in the audience and would like to make a public comment on an item not on the agenda. So there's no public present. We don't have a public comment. We'll close public comment.
We will close public comment.
Open it up to item number 1, approving the minutes from October 6th.
Yeah, I went through these. I did not see any changes. I think they were fine.
And me either.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Item number 1 is approved. Item number 2. Mr. McDonald, purchase of a John Deere backhoe.
Yes. Well, I'd like to open, as stated in the APC staff report, the purpose of this purchase would be to continue the current and future planning for the growing district responsibilities. As the district looks towards the acquirement of the South Yuba Canal System and the support needed, the maintenance department also is tying together the overall current needs and goals for treated and raw water systems, as well as the South Yuba Canal. This purchase is out of monies that were already approved. As we reached out to PAPA, they gave us a approval on a pre-purchased backhoe that we were able to utilize from Hydro this last summer. It also went in concurrence with a rental for yard development. The overall desire of the backhoe would be to help assist in that development as well as be utilized down country, if I may state it that way, here with the current maintenance needs. So the desire would be to utilize the RFQ that was established already for Hydro and move forward with the purchase of this backhoe. I do want to point out that they did quote us at a 2019 price, and we have a signed statement that they're willing to stick to that cost. So
Good.
It is an overall savings to the district. It does meet some future forecasts for work up there, as well as the ongoing work down here. There are numbers, of course, in the staff report. We spent, $19,000 plus on just a rental alone. To carry on next year for some of the forecasted plans for that yard development, we're looking at probably about $1,700 a month from Holt for another backhoe. I want to say the timing was such with Hydro that we were able to utilize theirs because they just had another one that they were able to utilize. That opportunity may not exist next year. So basically would like to get the okay to move forward on the purchase of this piece of equipment.
Okay.
So I have two questions.
Okay.
The first was, I noticed it says here that didn't look back in the budget, but we do a separate budget item to ramp up the yard, the maintenance yard there. I don't remember that portion, but it says we did here, so, for the development of the Bear Valley yard.
You mean in a separate line item budget for the development of the yard?
And
That wasn't a particular line item budget, not for something like this.
No, it wasn't that itemized. It was
the $450,000 this year. That I assume was included in that.
The $450,000 in 52915 for the development of the Bear Valley yard.
Yes. Yeah. That's my question.
Right, and we've been utilizing that budget in order to do some of the lay down and some of the fencing work that we've done up there, et cetera, right?
Yeah, we've accomplished quite a few goals up there. it was sort of defined as a building, but, there were other precursors that needed to take place before we actually got into construction. Been able to do grading, and look at accesses. We had some, as stated in the report, there was some fuel reduction and some potentially problematic trees taken out that we didn't want to have affect the building once it was constructed. So it spent a lot of the summer moving rocks. The excavator was utilized to break ground for some grade. If you've been in that country, which I'm sure you have, it's very rocky. So we acquired a lot of boulders. In one person's opinion, not so great. In maintenance, kind of great because we can use those. We're going to use them in the yard. They're great for, rehab and armament on canals.
Great for Monica's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could
Monica,
use them as
yeah.
barriers.
Dispersed camping area.
Well, we had a lot of people drive by with interest, and we kept telling them, no, we're going to utilize them.
Now, could we sell them?
Well,
Could we sell boulders? Anyway, that's a separate
That's a
thing.
different.
Last M&R, we did bring, we brought an overview of the Bear Valley Yard to the M&R committee. We had a full budget layout for kind of what we're planning on doing for the rest of 2020 into 21 and sort of where we are. We didn't include that in this.
I mean, I have a list of some targeted goals for next year. We have had our environmental taken out and established for our leach and septic system, so we could move forward on that. We're looking at also, there's overhead electrical, that's PG&E's. We want to have that removed primarily because we visualize some kind of helicopter landing in that yard as well as heavy equipment with beds up.
Staging area, yeah, to some degree.
You know, we're really trying to mirror what PG&E does. Right now, we're just sort of watching and learning. As you both well know, there's not a lot of great access on that system. So they do a lot of flying of materials. And then, to remove that, just if we had an emergency where we had to get somebody medical help quickly, that would be a location where we could get them out. So the backhoe would be used for that. We want to put this electrical line that is PG&E's underground. We want to run our power underground. We feel it'd be much more efficient given the weather conditions as well as heavy equipment running around with dump beds up in the air and, that kind of practice. Some of the other goals, of course, are we want to build some material bins. So we'll be placing, you've probably seen the Hanson Brothers concrete blocks. We use them quite a bit. They're very great for those kind of construction. Placement of those. Pads will be built. We have a Tesco electrical box. I don't know the exact technical terms. It was Bill, our electrician, Gogan, is working that out, but we want to do all the underground for that as it goes. We clean up to the existing pump house and we clean up to what will be the new building eventually. So again, the backhoe will be used for that. The rocks that we generated, we just sort of moved them out of the way, put them in a pile. We envision a lot of those being utilized as a retaining wall because of the grade in there. Also, like I mentioned, we want to establish a landing zone for a helicopter, and we're going to continue to bring some more dirt in. We had acquired a lot of material when they did the housing development over here on Ridge from the contractor, and he just graciously moved it right across the dirt road to our Alpa Hill site.
Right.
And, of course, I was ecstatic to get it because I didn't have to touch it. It just sort of showed up at no cost.
I know, that's perfect.
Yeah, I love the decimal point on that, Anyway, so we were able to use that material, and we trucked it up there. That will continue this next year, hence the backhoe will be utilized to spread that around.
And when it's not up in the upper country yard doing all that work at the yard and for the South Yuba Canal preparations, we'll have it down here, mostly in the winter months, utilizing for the maintenance crews and anything else that we need to do. So,
and, I'd also just like to add that, maintenance, since I've worked here, we don't rent until every piece is already committed. So that was how we ended up with that backhoe. Again, I'm not sure Hydro could commit to us having access to it this year. So we exhaust our capital equipment, if not, and we have a project going and it's justifiable. Of course, my word to the guys is when they rent, it needs to be moving.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I like that, very good.
Well,
Yeah.
so I just kind of want to share that thought too, that, you know, that we could avoid rental costs. Scheduling's a lot easier. We did not have a backhoe to get out of our existing equipment down here during the summer season. They were all busy, which is a good thing,
Mhm.
so.
How big is the site? How much, and this land was,
The acres.
I'd say it's 3 plus,
Okay.
maybe 4.
Yeah, a little over 3,
we
maybe
got
4.
this with the South Yuba deal, or the actual, we
Yeah.
own we will own the property.
I think we do.
Or we
I
lease.
think we do own the property.
We do.
Right now, it's fenced. We've got a fence around it. We have some control for next summer.
We want to put a shed up so that
Yeah.
there's, you know, maybe a little kitchenette, a bathroom, but mostly storage, so sort of a lay-down storage place for
Mhm.
over winter and into the summer, so we're not driving material from the yard here all the way up there, but
Much
it's
more
kind of drop
efficient.
ship, let it sit, and, like you say, lumber,
Right.
rocks, material.
I think we'll keep the primary material in this yard, but we'll keep material up there as well. That way, as Greg's stating, we're not driving back and forth. It's, you know, quite a little distance.
Right.
And we want to be prepared for any potential emergency.
Absolutely. And is there an existing building with, I thought there was a house there, or
That was demoed.
demoed, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's out.
Far off, just haven't been.
Yeah, it's
the
pretty much,
pictures were 1,000
you know,
words
if you
there.
drive up there, it's the grading, the subgrading, a rough grade for the existing building. I drew up 150 by 50 footprint with a very minimal office bathroom, because its primary usage is storage of equipment and materials. So there's not a whole lot there. That building was looked at as being upgraded, but it was too much uphill.
Okay,
It was a lot more efficient to start over.
perfect. My last question is, what is ride control on four-way bucket? I wanna play with that. I think there's an automatic thing that the bucket automatically opens and shuts, that kind of stuff.
No, what it is when you have a load in it, so now your weight differentiates. You have the backhoe on the back,
Right.
which this model also has a thumb, which is a nice feature. But as you get moving down the road, if you get over 3 to 5 miles an hour, you'll start doing this.
Yep.
And that is, it's hard on your body.
On your body, that's for the
Everything.
operator.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm totally in favor. I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I just have a couple of questions and comments. I think Greg answered one, but, so this would be available to be shared when not in use with other departments, say hydro or
Operations.
water or
Yes.
operations or whatever it would be, okay. And then my final comment is, I'm also in favor of this, but it's just how much I appreciate you saying, these are the things we're going to use this for. That was like, I appreciated that you laid that out for us, because sometimes it's just like, yeah, we gotta have a backhoe, or we gotta have a this or that. And it's just nice to hear, oh, yeah, there's actually a plan. So, thank you.
Yeah, there's always a plan.
So, yeah, I'm in totally favor. Thumbs up.
All right, great. Well, we'll go ahead and,
Thank you,
Well,
Bob.
thank you. We'll move forward then.
Okay.
I appreciate your time.
Thank
Thank
you, Bob.
sounds
Nice
great.
meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Good luck in your job.
There's still no,
And there's no public?
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
so still no public on the phone, so, we
We'll
will
move
close
forward.
this item and we'll move to item number 3. Monica.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here to
Morning,
talk
Monica.
about recreation rates for 2021. As we continue to grow, and we do continue to grow, and we have a lot of buildings that need to be repaired, things that need to get done, we need to raise our rates to do that. So these attached rates are 5% increase. They're actually kind of have already been approved through the 2021 budget. The assumptions were made that we would be getting a 5% increase on rates. And all the rates have been structured so they're, again, the same across all the campgrounds, except for Jackson Meadows, because we do have to follow, US Forest Service, rates. And, they've also been rounded just for ease of customer transactions. So, in our off-season, when nobody's working, the guys are out working out in the campgrounds, and they have to fill out one of our little envelopes. The most of them are in dollars, not cents, so that's better.
That makes sense.
And then also what I did this season is that last year, both at the M&R, meeting and at, the board meeting, there was a discussion on when were we going to top out on the standard tent. And I think you had brought it up, and I think you brought it up as well. And so I think that's this year. Actually, I think it was 2020. I think if we applied a 5% rate increase to the standard tent, which is $37 now, it would go up to $39. And, if you look at the comparison sheet that I have in here.
I really appreciated you doing this, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Very well.
Right here, I kind of, if you go across, and I kind of, did the median, it comes in about $37, $36.50.
The tent, dry camp?
Yeah,
That's
just the
dry
tent,
camp.
yeah, the standard tent. So I think this would be, this 2021, we would just leave it at, we wouldn't give it the 5% increase, just leave it at the $37. And that would be just for standard tent.
Do you have an idea of what that, accounts for percentage-wise as I'm asking the big question.
Yeah, I would.
Total budget?
Or as far as how many people.
Well, how many?
Yeah.
How much are we talking about here as a portion of the income?
Yeah, I wouldn't, it's not gonna be that much, because most people nowadays are RV or trailer.
And what
Very
does dry
rarely.
camp mean? Does that mean they don't have access to water or waste facilities?
Yeah, so it's not, there's water, because we have the water, throughout the campground, but there's not water specifically at that site for that.
So you have to carry a bucket from a
Exactly,
faucet
yeah.
to
You gotta walk
Yeah,
3 campsites
exactly.
down, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
pretty
That's the
familiar.
only camping I've ever known.
That's the only camping I've ever known.
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
One spigot for
For forward.
kind of a loop of some
So
sort.
I would
Okay.
say probably 30% of our campers might be, just
Okay. So
strictly
it's not
tent.
it's a substantial.
Yeah. Or if we, a lot of times what we get is we get mom and dad in the RV and we get the kids out in the tent. So that's how they're kind of, enjoying that piece of it. So I just thought that, that would be something that this year we would kind of, I crunched the numbers as far as what the other agencies and other campgrounds were doing. And so it just seems like this would be the year that we would freeze it and see how it goes. Exactly. And then also, we've had discussion, at the board level about the senior discount. And so I did, include that on the back. It's kind of hard to see because it's tiny writing. But a lot of, most like the states are $2 off camping, $1 off day use. A lot of them have the special, passes for seniors,
Right.
those kind of things. We offer, our passes are either day use or boating. So I was kind of, and then of course, anything US Forest Service, if you have the Golden Bear ticket, it's 50% off. So I didn't want to go that route either. So I decided to look more, at Collins Lake, since it's more of an independent kind of, campground. And they do, $3 to $5 off on their camping site, and then $20 off passes. So I took the high end, the $5, just because they have their $3 is an off season. And,
Easier to round it.
exactly, it is, just to leave it at the $5. And then I did $20 off of the passes. And I don't really have, a number as far as what that would look like as far as, because we don't track age right now, so I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you,
I
do
don't
we have any demographics about how many folks in that senior category?
Yeah.
And was this available to them this past season or not?
No, this is brand new. This is something that just came up
All right.
kind of mid-season.
So we have to establish a basis
Exactly.
over time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was just thinking this would be a good jumping off At one point, I was thinking, well, maybe just $10 off passes and see how it goes, but I leave that to you. If you think 20 is too much, we can go down to 10, because I was thinking about that.
The other way is, what, has there been requests for it? Have we had complaints about our rates, those kind of things?
We haven't had a lot.
About that. The big complaint was you're not open, so we can go in.
Exactly, yeah. So it wasn't, I think, actually, Director Wilcox received one letter this last season, and so that's kind of what generated it. I mean, we do, when people call in, they do ask if there's a senior discount.
Right, I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, but it's not something that we get all the time.
A nod to the community,
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
Yeah,
it's more of, hey, most of the seniors in this area and throughout are coming in under fixed incomes, and so,
Why not?
$20 off, I mean,
Right,
we're not.
I think that's a good number.
We'll be able to see, I think, after this year, what that impact is to the revenue, like, oh my gosh, that's 3/4 of our pass holders. We just lost $19,000, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll definitely be able to, graph it out next year and definitely be able to give you a number.
And what else does passes include besides, you mentioned the Forest Service one, do we have one that they would have a?
It would just be $20 off the day use pass or $20 off the boating pass. Because those are the only two passes we offer.
So, what is a pass? I guess.
Oh, it's a season pass. It goes from...
season, that's what I thought. Season pass. Okay.
Well, actually, we call it a season pass, but it's a year pass.
So they'll get $20 off the whole pass.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So
So from $298 to
yes.
$207.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Got it. I have a question here.
Sure.
What is tent-only double, and it's $88? That seems like, wow, that's kind of a lot. I mean, that was my initial thought.
It's just a double site for tents.
So it's two people.
Exactly. It's two families or two groups going in.
On one site?
Exactly. Well, there's two sites. So every campground has a double site, even the Forest Service does as well. And so it's just a larger site for if you have a larger family, or if it's you and your family and your friend's family or whatever. So it's just a larger site.
How many of those do we have, roughly? You don't have to give me exact. I just was curious.
I would say, all campgrounds, maybe 10.
And so I guess what I was looking at is, so somebody could roll in with an RV on a premium site and have 6 people in there at $56, and the same people, if they just happen to have 2 tents, would pay a significant amount more.
No. Well, no. If you're a family coming in and you have 2 tents, you would just rent one tent site, because you can have an extra vehicle. So if you have, say, I'm a family coming in and my brother is coming in as well. So I can have my family in a tent at one site, and then I can have my brother come in as an extra vehicle and also have a tent site. We allow 8 people on a site, and you can have 2 tents.
Okay.
But on the larger sites, if you're having like a group, I guess it's more of a group.
Like at Fauchery, they have a group camp.
Exactly, yes.
So would that fit into that $88, or would that be a different rate?
That's a different rate because it's lakefront, and you can have
That's a group site.
25 to
below
50 people, yeah.
That's the group site.
Oh, that's
below
the group site.
Yeah.
I see.
So the double site is just a larger site. Like up at Jackson Meadows, they have, at East Meadows, they have 2 double sites, and it's just bigger. So if you have 2 RVs, you can park 2 RVs there. If you just want to use it strictly as tents, you could have tent sites as well, as long as you don't go over the capacity of people coming in.
Is that still limited to 8 people? A double site?
No. So double site would be 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So
That's what I was just trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's the difference. So
Exactly.
a single site for $37,
It's 8.
you can have 8 people, you can have a couple camps, you can have a
Couple
couple
tents.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I thought it was based on tents.
No.
You can even have 3
Sorry about
tents,
that.
right? You
Yeah.
can have
Right.
a kid's little tent and a dog
Exactly,
tent and a
yeah.
cat tent. And then, but the other double site, you can have up to 16 people.
Exactly.
Multiple families, so it's a smaller group site.
the
Yeah.
smaller group size.
Exactly.
Okay,
Bigger-
that
Yeah.
helps me too.
Yeah, that
Because I was comparing it to the
Right.
RV
Yeah,
site, and I'm
sorry.
like, wait, this seems
Mhm.
high. And what was it last year on the double site, the $88? It was just 5% less?
Exactly,
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
it's $4. or
exactly,
so.
yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Did I have another question? I don't think so. Oh, I do, Greg brought this up the other day, and it was interesting. What is our, I think of it as a vacancy rate, or alternatively occupancy rate, meaning, are all of these filled up every year, or are there, are there some that we don't get filled up, or, what is the occupancy of these during season?
It depends on location. Obviously, we can't use this year as
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, typically, like if you're looking up at Jackson Meadows, we're typically full from start to finish. Our group sites, Boshery books up within 3 days. It's full for the whole season.
Mhm.
Aspen Group, and Silvertip Group, which are ours, NID owns, again, they're gone. It's really, really popular. Our group sites, here, I can say at Scotts Flat, we have church groups that come in and they'll rent all of gate one.
Mhm.
So, typically, on our weekends, we are 100% full. Friday through Saturday, we're 100% full. During the summer months, the weekdays, we are full, but like right now, because we're still open, we have about 60 sites up at Scotts that are still open. Last weekend wasn't that great because I think it was Halloween weekend, but the prior weekend, we had 3 sites that were empty out of 60 for a winter. Because we're technically in our winter season right now. So,
So it's pretty
So
good.
that's a demand-supply kind of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Well, yes, right.
Yeah.
Right. No, and
That's how I think about it, and
Well, I've
Greg
heard
brought that
this-
up to me
I mean,
yesterday.
Yeah.
last year, the previous years, that was the case, that we have high demand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and what's funny is, well, it's not funny, but, well, it is kind of funny because it's interesting. Because I just finished all the reports for Jackson Meadows, and we opened July 3rd up there, and we just closed November 1st. Every month on our walk-ins, we made at least 5,000 more than we made last year.
Yes, right.
That's great.
Exactly. Granted, our reservations are down 12,000 because we had that 2-week block that
Right.
that Forest
Right.
Service closed us down. But October of last year, we made $2,300. Yesterday, I did my reports, $9,993
For walk-in.
for walk-ins only.
Wow.
That's
That's not
crazy.
even, that's not a campsite, right?
That
Just-
doesn't
just
include
coming back-
reservations. That's just somebody coming up
That's
hoping to get a spot.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Well, that is
So
great.
incrementally, you can see that over the years, the rates have been slowly
Right?
ticking up,
Mhm.
not at a huge
Yeah, not at a
click, right? But, 5%, 4%,
Mhm.
and we're still not, maybe we've reached this differential
yeah.
plateau at the tent site,
Mhm.
perhaps,
Right.
but all of these other categories, it looks like we still have a pretty good substantial ability to grow that revenue stream,
Mhm.
given, the demand. And after this year, even though it's been sort of wonky, it feels to me, at least in my personal, while I've been outside, that there's been a lot more people that have been exposed to camping, et cetera. And so we might have established
a greater demand.
a greater
Exactly.
round of demand for the foreseeable future. And so
Found out how fun it was.
how great it is and how beautiful it is and how great it can be.
Right,
And so, I think it just proves that we can continue to slowly
Yeah.
uptick on an annual basis, right? Doesn't
Mhm.
mean that we have to do a major jump and
Well,
get to
yeah,
the plateau.
keep up with CPI or, just
Yeah.
expenses
Exactly.
for labor and those kinds of
And
things.
5%
Yeah.
makes it.
Right?
Well, and it's also one of those things too, is that as we continue to improve, like last year, we redid all of our RV sites at Long Ravine. So we redid the
Yeah,
site, we did
right.
the power, we did, the sewer and water.
Water, yeah.
And it makes it justifiable for us to be able to take a 5%.
Right, and plus the the boat docks? Didn't we
Oh,
get
yeah,
all those great?
yeah, as of last year,
Yeah.
everything is new.
What you see,
Finished it up.
what is abnormal though is the Jackson Meadows
Yes, Forest.
area, the Forest Service values.
Mhm.
You know, those are, we can charge what we want at our facilities, but many of our facilities overlap with the Forest Service boundary, and so we're beholden to kind of the Forest Service rules around their pricing structure.
Yeah.
And it is not meant to be able to recoup costs associated with infrastructure upgrades and
So in other words,
long-term.
you don't wanna go put big, RV facilities up there
Well,
where we
we're,
can't charge for them.
part of the interesting rub is gonna come, I think, when we have to do our FERC
Right,
relicensing
I remember
upgrades,
that.
right?
They require some RVs.
Yeah.
$120 million or so in the rec division
So we
for
get
the
to
upgrade.
do the upgrades, but we don't get to set the rates.
Well, that's where the
That's-
questions
yeah,
are gonna.
But I think that's only
That's where
in terms of the Forest Service campgrounds, right?
Yes, right.
But what I'm saying is, our, in many of the Jackson Meadows properties and
Mhm.
campsites, our boundary, our property and Forest Service property literally goes through a campsite.
Campsite.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Literally, so if you go around a loop, you're in Forest Service, you can have Forest Service rates for, you know, sites 6, 7, 8, 9, and by the time you hit 10, 11, 12, 13, it's NID rates.
Yeah.
That doesn't work out very well
Yeah,
when you.
Yeah, so we just kind of, but all the group sites up there, so Aspen Group, Silvertip, Sposhery, those are all owned by
Yeah.
NID, and so those rates are based on our group rate.
That's right.
Where prior to 4 years ago, we were following US Forest Service, so it was the $88 or the
Whatever.
the $48 for a double site, where now we're following our own rates. And people are paying for it. I mean, it's not there's not much of heartburn, because they want to get up there by themselves at Foshery with their group,
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
in God's
We do have enough.
beautiful.
It is.
We
It's fabulous. It is fabulous.
We do have enough of our own property that doesn't do that overlap, but Jackson Meadows certainly does.
Yeah.
I guess that's really the main one.
Yeah, because, a good example is, NID owns the Aspen Group campsite,
Mhm.
but, Forest Service owns the Aspen, Days.
Oh.
So it's like, it's just crazy.
And where is that?
It's up at Jackson
Jackson
Meadows,
Meadows.
yeah.
Do we have to collect for the Forest Service and account for it, or do they do their own collections? Like, is there
No,
two
we're
with us?
running
it all.
them, we get the money.
Oh, we get the
We
money.
just follow we have to follow their rates.
Oh, okay, so we
yeah.
don't have to then write a check
Nope.
for their
No.
site?
No, because
Oh,
we're
that's
taking
good.
care of everything up there.
Okay, okay.
Well, that's,
Including the
that's
trees.
better news.
Yeah, that is better
Water.
news, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't,
I
we
was
don't
thinking it was
pay
a
them a check at
nightmare
all.
of like,
We
which
used to
one
pay,
were you in?
we used to pay them a check.
Yeah,
We used to pay them $300,000 a year.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then they would,
Oh, my.
in turn hire that out to a third party to
Manage, yeah.
concession the
Oh,
location.
Right.
And then once we took it over in 2016, 17, we went up and started looking around and going, oh, there's a lot of deferred maintenance to be going on here. So we have it, and Monica and team have been doing great.
Been away at it.
Chipping away at it.
Good job,
I
Monica.
think it's great. I think,
Yeah.
so what happens, back to the first, discussion, what happens going forward? Because it isn't just Forest Service land that'll cover, it's all of our stuff, right? The improvements required in FERC?
Correct. Recreation
Yeah.
Yeah.
requirements for our FERC license.
And that'd be ongoing, that's a long
Something we gotta,
Yeah, that's-
years, right?
something we
Yeah.
gotta work into, right, and have some more discussion on.
Mhm.
But they're certainly, you know, we've tried to up our rates at the Forest Service for the last few years, and they keep saying no. So I think there's some leverage that we're gonna have to start connecting with them and making sure that they understand this dichotomy between the increased cost, the historic deferred maintenance in the areas, the work that we've had to do in the last 5 years to bring it up to snuff, and then what we're gonna have to do in the future, and then by keeping rates at this artificial low. And it's just a mentality with the Forest Service. It's They want people to be in the forest and
We wanna make
recreating.
it 100% affordable
So they
for people
want
to be
it
out there.
affordable, and they're not, it's their sort of it's a much larger conversation with the Forest Service to help them identify and see what our financial considerations are.
Yeah, and I guess, my one little bit of heartburn that this gave me was in seeing some of these rates get up there, it's like, well, a lot of folks can't because, well, they want to get out in the woods, but we still want to keep this affordable, and we don't want to price out folks that are on the lower economic scale. And so I just want us to be sensitive to that, so that we're not making this only folks who are gainfully employed, that if you're,
Exactly.
if you're work at McDonald's, that you can still come and afford our campsite.
Exactly.
Sure.
Well, I think it's healthy to have the comparison, but I also feel that that we're striking that balance.
And like Monica says, we haven't seen, we haven't seen any public cry over the rates thus far.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's still a delta there that we're not quite hitting yet, but to your point, is for sure, I think.
I mean,
that
we'll
once
get
we
there
that,
eventually.
we're gonna,
At some point, we'll get there.
We'll get where?
Get to that point where we are,
Pricing out of the market.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just want us to be sensitive to that, because folks, everybody deserves to recreate up in these mountains.
Right.
As long as they play by the rules.
That's right, Monica's rules.
because you will get kicked out.
Love that. Okay, well, this is fine with me.
It's fine with me, and I have one more question. Maybe it's not maybe because we're talking about the whole recreation thing. It's been on my mind, especially this past summer. What are our opportunities? What's our cost-benefit ratio of developing some of those dispersed campground sites? I have no visual of how much that is, but that you have to maintain that we're not collecting from. And is that an option going forward as we talk about?
Well, I know once FERC kicks in, like we have Bowman Campground, that is truly, you have a picnic table, a bear box, and a fire ring. And, I think we have.
And those are not collected from?
No.
There's no Iron Ranger or anything for those?
No.
Okay.
And they have a vault toilet there as well. The problem that we have in the dispersed areas is lack of camp hosts. So yes, we can put an Iron Ranger out there and people aren't gonna,
They don't pay.
they're not gonna pay.
Yeah, or some.
Right now, they don't have to pay.
Yes.
But eventually, I think once, FERC kicks in and we have to, update and also create some more, because right next to Bowman Campground, there's actually another campground which has fire rings. So I would guess that in Forest Service thinking that is also gonna become truly a campground. So I think it's just one of those things is as we start to develop and FERC kicks in, I would hope that some of the roads would be, the access is going to be better.
It's gonna increase.
Because that's the problem is that,
I know, that
the access is horrible.
So the staff currently has to come from Jackson Meadows or?
We come from Jackson Meadows, just because that's where our meeting ground is. And, the guys that are working the Bowman corridor, they have like a route. So they leave, they have the side-by-side, they go down and hit Milton, because that's dispersed as well. So we've got our little 50-gallon drum of water, our pressure washer and all that. We go clean bathrooms, and then they head on down to the Bowman corridor, which is all the way from Fostery down to all the way to the end of Bowman, because there's dispersed camping all along there.
And is that all Forest Service land? Or do we own some of that? So there's
portions of it.
Bowman, the Bowman Campground is ours.
Oh, it is?
But around, the NID owns that.
But coming down Canyon Creek, there's Forest Service land,
Yes.
et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah, Canyon Creek, Jackson Creek, our Forest Service, Fostery is ours. And then all along, that dispersed camping all along, after you pass Bowman Campground to the other side to the dam, that's mostly Forest Service as well.
Oh, okay, so that complicates my idea.
Well, once the roads are you know, at some point, the roads are just gonna have to get upgraded
And
out
who's
there.
gonna do that? Forest Service? I mean, that's who has to do it, right? Or us?
Forest Service owns the roads, yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, and they, like Fosherie, up to Fosherie, they own that road.
Mhm.
Once it becomes NID property, there's like a little patch of asphalt, and then, you know, there's a circular way around the bathroom, it's all asphalt, but it's just a little bit.
So
But
we need
after that down, it's all rock.
we need a cooperative venture there.
Yeah, it'll be,
Is that possible with Forest Service?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, for sure.
I think it is.
But whether
We've
they have
gained-
money,
Well, I
is
think it's
the other
We've
question.
gained a lot of ground with them. I mean, the last 4 years have been truly, I mean, we've
Is that Ellen?
come a long
Alana?
way, yes,
Yeah,
Police
he's
supervisor,
great.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Francis, because that's sort of been on my mind, I go, what can we do up there? Especially when we talked about the trash.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Just,
ugly, yeah.
Yeah,
Bad.
I think once they become, a true campground, I think a lot of that, I would hope a lot of that garbage issue kind of goes away. But again, I mean, we would have to get you have to get, the dumpsters out there, and the roads right now just aren't, I mean, we barely,
And the services to go there, the
exactly,
bathroom, the
yeah,
pit,
we barely,
toilets.
yeah, we barely are able to get, our septic guy, our pumping guy up there. You know, we wait for the road to be just right, I'm like, okay, I think you can make it now. And then at the end of the season, because we just ended, I'm like, please go and just pump it out.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. Because those roads can change, I mean, you get a rough rainstorm up there and the roads change drastically.
Yep. Well,
Good.
thank you.
yeah, well, good update.
Great update, yeah.
Yes.
There's,
That's typically
yeah.
what it is.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're bringing
I
it
think
forth.
so, yeah, we got 2 thumbs up, it would be a
Thumbs up.
consent item, yeah.
Yep,
Great.
Thank you.
okay,
Monica.
thank you, Monica. Okay, we'll close item number 3 and open item 4.
Public?
Oh, I'm sorry, is there any public? We still have no public
Okay.
on the
I
line.
guess this is boring for them.
I know. I'm not,
I think it's some of the best.
I'm not
maybe
gonna
the-
take it personal either.
What I told Monica, I said, this is a fun meeting, the recreation meeting.
I know, I love this.
This may be the
See you guys.
first APC or any meeting in a long time that there has been 0 public.
Yeah.
There's a few staff.
Well, it's election day, so
It is.
everybody's
It's a day.
doing
Let's do
whatever
that.
it is they're gonna be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, it's a day. Okay, so item number 4, quick safety update. It's rather light, which is a good thing
Yes,
on the safety department. They've been sort of spending a lot of time doing a few different site visits out at the Dutch Flat Powerhouse, Penstock. So a lot of help with the hydro department during the outages. They've been going out and helping them with some projects that they've needed to work on. I mean, one of the little things that we picked up from just as an FYI, it's kind of silly, but a couple years ago, we had a service come around and update all of our first aid kits. So we would
Oh,
spend
yeah.
some money for
Yeah.
a
oh, yeah,
firm
you gotta do
to
that.
come out and update, and then our
Like fire hydrant,
our
or
guys
fire extinguisher.
fire extinguishers, but
Yeah.
our guys were sort of like, why the heck are we spending money? Let's just put it part of our routine, and they go. So Cindy and Dawn go to all the sites and do an annual update to all of the first aid kits and
Mhm.
making sure anyway that's in here. So I
I
just
looked at mine this week and it's almost clear empty, right? There's nothing in there.
yeah, who's paying attention to
Who
it?
filled that back?
Who's paying attention to it?
Right, so
Yeah.
that's a detail.
Yeah. Head wall structure went in out at, I believe this is, the
This is plaster.
intake.
This is
This is plaster.
Fruit
I believe
veil.
this is Doty. Don't recall what canal this is for. Off the
We're
top of my
working
head.
on 2 of them, right?
Yeah, they're working on the Doty
Siphon,
and the, Gold Hill.
Gold Hill.
This might be the Gold Hill intake that they're working on. Yeah. But you can see, kind of our crews down in the pit there and digging away, and we're making sure that, our work, all the maintenance activities that we're doing are required through our OSHA and safety processes. We don't necessarily check on safety activities of our contractors. They have that role on their own.
That's their own deal.
That's their own deal, so that we're not responsible for their OSHA regulations. But for all of our internal work, our maintenance activities and operations, our safety folks head out and do spot checks.
That brings up a question for me, because I've been sort of advocating since I got here to raise our insurance, you know, on our stuff.
Contractors, yeah.
And did that happen? I
It
mean, I
hasn't
can't
yet.
remember. Why?
It hasn't yet, so we were waiting until we had Gladfelter online, and to be honest
right.
with you, yeah, so, to be honest with you, I have not gone forth and had him take a look at our contracts and take a look at the delta of what we're currently requiring for our contractors for their insurance liability. So it is on the list, actually.
I kind of remember that when we went
It is on our list.
the other day. It's
Just
kind of an
hasn't-
important thing. I mean, I'm looking at these dudes going, all you need is this bucket to come over and slam somebody in the head,
Totally.
and then, you know, the
Yeah.
$500,000 is not going to do it.
Well, that's our guys. This is,
Yeah, no, I know, but.
So if it was a,
Right.
if it was
Same
a,
thing.
if it was a contractor,
These site visits, are they unannounced? Or are they planned?
Oh, interesting.
some are and some aren't.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this safety people actually going,
Yes, they are.
okay.
Going directly to the site. They know what projects we're working on. We know if it's a confined space. Typically, if it's a confined space, action or something that has a, sort of a little offset to life and limb, they'll notify our safety department, and we'll go out there from the start and make sure that they're doing everything appropriately.
And then who on the job site is responsible for safety?
Site supervisors.
Site super.
Yep. Our seniors are site supervisors,
All right.
exactly.
Good.
And of course, they have their safety talks every morning about, you know, what's the environment, what are we looking out for, what are we trying to do, what are we accomplishing, how fast should we be working, you know, what the heat index is, what the air quality is, right? So this summer, we had quite a bit of delay
Air quality.
on certain projects that just we couldn't do. You know, we were up in the 300 to 400 AQI, and so we had to stop.
Yeah,
Smoke, particulate matter. We had to stop, and it was coinciding with all those heat waves, right? And so we'd be up at 104, 105. These guys are in a pit like this, shovels, backhoes, you know, wearing all their equipment, hard hats, gloves, masks. By then, they're wearing their masks, right? And oh my God. So a lot of that work had to be stalled.
Are those OSHA standards for the,
Yeah.
for the particulate?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's something new. I had not thought about.
Yep.
Right.
So you heard, I don't know if you know, when you listen to the radio or read a paper, you know, it talks about air quality index, and they had those a lot during the fires recently.
Right.
And it would say unhealthy for sensitive groups, and then it was unhealthy for all groups. So there's a level there at about 150 AQI, air quality index. Anything below that, you're pretty a normal day, right? There's really no OSHA regulatory things that kick in for most of the work that we do. Above 150, we require that supervisors are offering PPE to staff, right? They don't necessarily have to take it. So there's some qualifications. When it gets up to 300 or 350, no, you must, right, wear this stuff if we're going to be out in the field working. Then, you know, it requires more breaks, it requires more, you know, water on site, et cetera, like that.
Okay.
Can't work past 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2:30 or something like that. So. Anyway, a number of trainings that they did, fall protection, you can see that. We worked some fall protection training, confined space. Took a few. They're doing I think there's a maintenance training going on today. I think for heavy equipment operators. So the COVID thing has really stymied a lot of our training. They've had to spread that out instead of, you know, 15 or 20 folks in a room talking, and then we all go out to a backhoe and operate it. It's 5 or 6 folks in a room.
Yeah.
You got to a backhoe, one guy operates it, you spray it all down, so it delays some things. We did an insurance walk with, Gladfelter did come to the office here. We met, last month with all of our, senior management and, safety department, with Gladfelter for about 2.5 hours in this room. Talked about all sorts of things from, just sort of the operations, how we manage our contracts, how we define, you know, what kind of work we're doing on a particular day, And so we went through on an administrative level, through our hydro, through our operations, through our maintenance, through our rec department, through our safety department, and sort of had a round robin with our Gladfelter new insurance agent, who was coming to really just kind of check in on our, just be a
What
good
have they
eyes
just
to
done?
us.
Yeah.
Who are these people that
Who
we
are these
just
people
hired?
that we just Insured.
We're insuring them now.
Right.
So it was a really positive day.
That's good.
And then he went out with our operations staff and our treated water facilities, and they went to George and Lake of the Pines treatment facilities, and took a look at all around for any, preliminary violations that they might be looking for.
Mhm.
All they found is we had to update some safety exit signs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
So
So we're doing a really good job.
It was
in your
really
safety
good. I'm saying that,
department,
and they're heading out to next week, is it? I think it's next week or the week after. Then Zurich is coming, and if you remember Zurich,
Zurich is the back.
they were the backstop for all the hydro pieces,
Yes.
all the hydro division. So they're coming to look at all of our hydroelectric
That'll be a big
plants.
piece. I'll be interested to hear what that.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
yeah. So they're doing, I think, a 3-day tour
Oh, wow.
here.
Comprehensive.
So it's very comprehensive.
Well, yeah, their risk is,
Yeah.
they got some risk going on.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting to see what they do and come out for that. So safety will be eminently involved in that as well.
Okay.
Questions?
Oh, looks good.
Well, just in a general question, so what is our, some people post accident or safety ratings, we only have X number of, reports per this many thousand hours worked or something. I know there's some metric. Do we have that?
You know what? I don't.
Uh-huh.
But it
I'll
is
bet
a
it's really good. That's
really
why it would
good
be cool
idea.
to see it.
We've looked at it before. I brought that metric about a year ago when we had a safety barbecue. Every year we do a safety barbecue for staff. We haven't done it this year because of COVID, but I had those metrics. So like how many, everything from snake bites to bee stings to some smashings, right, with a hammer or something like that.
Right.
So we do have those, and it would be interesting. So my thought process on that would be, we talked a couple days ago or yesterday about the dashboard thing with the CMMS and with the ERP. Those would be key performance indicators that I would like to see through the safety department.
Yes, me
right?
too.
And so we have those. The safety has those, and I'll bring those forth in the next meeting, because I've been meaning to get that, and it just has kind of slipped.
Well, I think it's good because it's a self-check for one.
Yeah.
But it's also, my guess is that it's excellent. And so you may as well be able to
Show it.
reflect back to the employees,
absolutely.
look how good you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have a safety corner every month in the pipeline. That's a great opportunity to identify and say, good job on all this, thanks for reminding me that. It has been something that I've been meaning to get to.
Good.
And we'll do that.
So that will be a function of CMM.
Yeah, it can be. So you can set up all these, performance indicators, right? And so when you go in, you could say, all right, and so if I was a dam safety engineer, right, I'd have key performance measures of all the different dams, sort of. I'm not a dam safety engineer, but there are a number, right?
Yeah.
And so whether you're a water treatment plant operator, you're going to see, the levels of chlorine or different bacteria coming into the plant. For safety, it would be identified to be, you can say, all right, in the past year, in the past 30 days, what was our injury rate, right? And that reflects to our workers' compensation insurance and our premiums.
That's right.
Right, so you can tie all that back into the dollar amount that we pay for workers' compensation premiums, and then run losses you get from the insurance company.
So that's interesting. So, but we must report to the workers' comp carrier.
We do.
Right?
Totally.
So they probably have that information available.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to get. And we'll just have to get it. And I agree, it's something that would be helpful to view, because if you can't see it, you can't measure it, you can't benefit from it.
Right.
right? So two ways to benefit. One is to kind of celebrate.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That was what I was
That
thinking.
was what I was
Right.
thinking too, get
Right.
the word out.
But
Get
there's
the word
also,
out, yes.
there's also the, you know, when you identify a problem and then our rates go up because of a systemic problem, it's a
Then there's a
way,
tracking
it's a
tool.
way to look and track and be like, wait a minute, we've had, snake bites. We've had 7 snake bites in the last 4 months.
We
You
have,
know,
really?
no, I'm just guessing, no. No. As an example,
Okay.
bad example, but
Okay.
as an example, right? You could say, look, we've had this number of X number of incidents for a very common activity.
Mm-hmm.
We should train towards that, and we should
Right.
we should educate staff to do something, right? And so it triggers different opportunities. But thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
There's
So I
something.
hate snakes, so, by the way, how many snake bites do we get on average?
You'll know when I bring the KPI next month.
Okay. And then I wanna know where they are, so I can.
Yeah.
They're in Placer County,
Yeah, I know, they're all down in Lawrence.
Yeah.
mostly,
So,
down elevation.
anyway.
All right, well, thank you. I just think this is always so good, and
It is.
I'm delighted to see it, so thank you for the report. And it'll be fun to see the metrics on the next
Absolutely.
go-round.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yep, me too.
Thanks.
I've been wanting to see those.
Okay.
Right. Okay, well, if there are
Is there anybody on the,
any public
online?
comment?
Nobody wants to talk about safety?
Nobody.
Snake bites?
Nobody
Come on,
today,
you're
come on. All right, we will close.
Oh, we did? Jana?
Jana?
Oh, good. Hey,
Jana,
Jana.
would you like to speak? Workers' comp. Betcha. Jana? Jana, you there?
Oh, now she just unmuted.
Unmute yourself, Jana. Gotta be about workers' comp, I know it.
Oh.
Jana, you're unmuted. Jana, you there?
Your microphone on.
You know. Sorry, Jana.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Last
assume,
call.
I'm gonna assume you're making a comment
We'll come
about
downstairs
workers'
and
comp
see
and injuries. So, we'll touch bases on that
Okay.
next month.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you all. We'll close APC. It
All
is
right. Good job.